Alright, well hello and welcome back to Derail Valley. This is going to be all about the DM3 today. I'm going to put it through several different tests. The first one of being pulling 800 tons out of steel mill going to the harbor. We're going to try some pulls out of the harbor as well. But I'm not really sure what the capabilities of this thing is. In the last video, I did a 800 ton pull with the DM3, but I stupidly forgot to make sure the brakes were completely released, so it didn't even budge. So I'm going to try it again. I do have 14 carts lined up, or cars, with steel rails. As you've seen on that tag, each one weighs 57 tons. And when we times that by 14, it's just under 800 tons. 850 tons with the Loco. Okay, so let's see what this thing can do. Okay, well, we almost made it to the harbor town, but I wasn't paying attention and wasn't braking it, so we didn't make it. But this tells you this can take 800 tons, no problemo, from harbor town. No, I'm sorry, from the steel town to the harbor. Well, let's go to the harbor and see if we can get this same train out of the harbor. Alright, so we're going to try this again. 800 tons. We got 14 steel rails. All right, well, we made it to steel mill. Hopefully I got a good shot of that wreck. I kind of might have messed up at the end. Anyway, 800 tons from harbor to the steel mill with just the DM3. Obviously, super doable. We're going to try one more experiment before we head out, and that is to come out of the harbor with a little bit more weight. So let me get it all set up. Alright, so we're going to try this again. I'm jumping it up quite a bit from the 800. We're going to do 1,200 tons. I got 21 cars, all with steel rails, which comes out to 1,197 tons. So let's see if this thing works. And then with the locomotive, it's going to be just over 1,200 tons, 1,250. I'm pretty confident this will not make it because our 800 tons barely made it, but I still wanted to try 1,200. With a little bit more running start, we're back here in E yard. So let's see if we can get this puppy actually rolling. Let's see. Okay, brake pipe is fully pressurized and released. Let's go ahead and slap her in first. And we're going to turn our sand on full blast because we're just going to try to get out of here as fast as we can. So it's pulling all this weight pretty good. There's our 100 switch. Not that high. Full throttle. I should make sure everything's getting pulled. Does appear so. Alright, we're getting ready to hit second. 1, 2, 1. 2, 1. Full throttle, -1 notch. full throttle. Temperatures aren't going up that much, and we're gonna really need as much speed as we can. I don't think it's gonna help too much. Pretty confident this thing will not make it, but it's gonna be fun to see if it can. Okay, we're almost at 100. 2-2. Just gonna do almost full throttle just so the temps don't go up all the way. Now we're gonna do full throttle. Now all these tracks should be set. Okay, we just hit the bell on our temperatures. But we're almost at 20 around this first bend. Just gonna keep it full throttle. We're almost at 100 RP or 1,000 RPMs. Next gear, 3, 1, full throttle. Looks like we're barely gaining any speed, if any. I think we can turn this down just a little bit. We've already used most of our sand, or at least a quarter of it. We're almost at 100 RPM, or 1,000 RPMs. Let's kick it off, hit it to second, and go. Full throttle. Come on, get that RPM up before we hit the hill. Alright, so our temps just hit the yellow. This thing's not gaining too much speed in 3-2. Now I'm going to try something different. Once I have to downshift, instead of going to 3-1, I'm going to slap it in 1-3 real fast because I want to see if my theory of gearbox A at 1 has got the most torque, but I don't know if that's true. But let's see. We're at full throttle still. We're in gear 3-2. We're almost hitting 30. Let's take a look at our gauges real quick. We're starting to, well, speed's pretty level. Okay, now the RPMs are starting to drop. Now we're gonna start having some issues. Once we get down in RPMs, we'll swap this over. Let's go ahead and go to 3-1 or 1-3. Full throttle. Well, 1-3 is definitely not cutting it. Turn our sand on just a little more. We're gonna have to switch to 2-2. 2-1. These next gears, I might grind them real quick. Well, we're just going to 1-1 with a grind. Sand is on full. Down 1 notch, down 2 notch. Actually, we're just going to put it up almost full. We're just going to keep it on full. We're going to bring down our throttle just a tiny bit, 1 notch. Actually, we're going full throttle. And yeah, I don't think this is going to make it. Temperature's increasing. Still at full throttle. Is the temperature gonna stop or is it gonna keep going? Looks to be sort of leveling out. Speed is at 4. Let's go ahead and kick it down just 1 notch on the throttle. Let that lower, the temperature lower. Let's check our speed. So temp, we're at 4. RPMs are slightly dropping. Temperature is going back down. Let's go full throttle. RPMs are increasing. Let's see if we can drop some of this sand so we're not using so much. Temperatures are starting to get pretty high. We're at 600 RPMs, a speed of 5. We're going to drop this down by 1 speed. Let that temperature drop just a little bit. And let's get our RPMs back up. I don't hear no tire slippage. So we're back up to 600 RPMs. Well, this actually might haul this all the way up here. Temperatures are kind of holding at 114. We do have full throttle. We got half sand. Let's see how our sand gauge is actually doing over here. We only got about a quarter of our sand left. Let's see if we can drop it by 1. Nope. So we need to keep the sand right where it's at. That kind of screwed us a little bit on our RPM. And our temperature did go up a little bit. But we're just going to kind of keep it steady at full throttle. First gears. We're at 116. I don't know when it'll blow. Probably 120. RPMs are going down, so that's actually not good. Let's go ahead and drop it by 1. We're gonna let those temperatures at least cool down to 110. Okay, we need to bring the RPMs back up. Oh shit, we need to increase our sand production here. Too full. Oh crap, we're about to overheat. Let's drop the temp. Let's go ahead and full throttle it again. Okay, we are slowing down. Looks like we're getting some wheel spin perhaps. All brakes are off. We're at 118, 119. We're gonna drop the RPMs just a smidgen. RPMs are dropping, temperature's dropping. We're at 114. Let's go ahead and increase it. Full throttle, back at 115. RPMs are going up. Temperature's at 116. Sand is at full. We are definitely running out of the sand. Temperatures are at 118, 119. Oops, I screwed that up. We dropped the throttle down to 6. Try to get those temperatures down a little bit. We're at 400 RPM. We're going to go ahead and go full throttle again. Our sand is almost out. RPMs are not going up very good. We're only going 3 kilometers. We'll drop that throttle a little bit, try to get this temperature down. See if we can drop the sand by 1. And full throttle. We cannot drop the sand by 1 at full throttle. But the RPMs are going back up. 117 temperature. 118. Sand is about to run out. 119. Let's drop it. And sand's out. And 3, 2, 1, gone. Yep, so we are not making it. Yep, we're going backwards. Well, it was a valiant effort. Bye. Let's go ahead and just drop all speed. Let's throw it in reverse. We can't because we're moving. But let's just let this coast down and see what happens. Okay, so I think you get the idea. This thing actually almost made it up that first turn. Now, if I would have probably controlled my sand a little bit better, we might have been able to make it past that first corner. But even at that, I don't know if this would have made it the full trip, because we'd have probably had to use some sand later down the line, especially going up through here. Even around this bit here, we'd probably had to use some more sand. Not to say, though, this thing couldn't do it. Now, if we threw a DE2 on the back of this and controlled the DE2 with the remote, that would probably do it. And also, if I would have put just 20 carts instead of 21, that would have put the entire weight at just under 1,200 tons with the locomotive. Would have been at like 1194, I believe, or something like that. So maybe with 1,200 tons total, it might work. I might have to try that again at another point. But this is what we get for this. Now, I do actually want to see if we can get 1,200 tons out of steel mill. That would actually be possibly possible, because this gradient coming out of harbor is pretty tough. I think Squirrel just did a video pulling weight out of the harbor, and I think it was like a 2.4% grade. But let me go ahead and get situated over at the steel mill, and let's see if we can actually pull 1,200 tons out of steel mill with the DE3. I'll do 1,200 tons total, and let's see what happens. I'll meet you guys over there when I get all set up. Okay, I think I got them all lined up. There should be 20 cars. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 20 cars come out to 1,140 kilograms, or no, tons. And with the 52, that's going to put it at 1,192. So just under 1,200 tons. I checked all the brakes, made sure everything was off. Let's go ahead. Brakes are released. Everything looks like it's ready. Perfect. Let's go ahead and slap this into first. And let's see if we can make it up the steel mill hill. Alright, let's go. I'm not sure how much sand we're going to need. We're just going to drop a little bit. And we're going to hit it in first. Okay, looks like 3 clicks on the sand will be just fine. Thousand RPM. Alright, buddy, let's see if you can do it. Almost to 1,000 again. Full throttle, -1. Actually, full throttle. We might actually need full throttle. Alright, almost 1,000. 2.2. Full throttle. Knocked it off 1 notch for the sand. Try to conserve as much as possible. 2 notches on the sand. It's not sliding. Once we get this up to 1,000, we'll throw it in 3-1. Staying pretty level right now. Let's zoom in. So temperature is dropping, RPMs are maintaining, speed is maintaining. I don't really want to slap it into the next gear. I don't know if it'll make it. Let's try it. 3-1, full throttle. I mean, temps are increasing. Looks like RPMs are holding. Temps are somewhat leveling. Let's see. RPMs are dropping. Speed's dropping. We're switching back to 2.2. Full throttle. We may have to drop to a 1.2. But let's maintain real quick and see if this will hold. How's our sand doing? Barely at 1/4. See if we can drop it 1 notch. Actually, that was an increase. Okay, I was able to drop it. But this isn't looking too promising. Let's increase our sand again. And we're going to go to 3-1 without lowering our throttle. Probably lower our sand a little bit. So we're at 2-1 right now. Go and switch it to 1-2. We're just going to grind those gears. Full throttle, yep. RPMs are decreasing, speed is decreasing. Down sand 1 time. Temperatures are still increasing. Let's drop this down to, we're going to increase the sand. Max. We're going to grind the gears. Now we're going to lower the sand just a little bit. 2 notches down. 3 notches down. Okay, 3 notches down is the least amount of sand we can drop. Oh. Increase sand a little bit more. Do have it at full throttle and both 1 and 1 gears. Looks like we're about to overheat. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna make it. I feel like I did better at the harbor town with more weight. I had 1 extra cart down there. But again, the hardest part of Harbor Town is going to be, I think, around that first corner. Yeah, I don't think it's going to make it. Now, we probably could get this to the harbor town if we took the southern route. Might be a little bit longer, come down through this way. But then again, we might have a lot of trouble. But this should be fairly flat. It's along the coast. But I'm not too sure. I mean, it's still... Let's see what the temperatures are. We're at 118. Yeah, I don't think this will make it. Let's just kind of time-lapse it out and see. Well, it looks like oil temperature is dropping and RPMs are slightly increasing. We are using up a lot of sand. And we cannot drop our sand any lower than what it already is. He was actually able to drop her sand a little bit right here, but not very much. And as you can see, our sand's getting very low. But oil temperature is still dropping and speed is increasing along with the RPMs. Okay, well, it's actually holding pretty freaking well. We ain't dropping any sand anymore. We are in first, 1-1. We're about to hit 1,000 RPMs. But it's actually holding off pretty well. Let's just continue the drive and see if we can actually make it. Let's see if we can hit up into second without dropping all kinds of speed. Just full throttle it. We don't have any sand. We'll just keep it full throttle. And we'll monitor it on the other screen. Alright, well, this puppy seems like it's doing pretty good. Where are we? I think it's going to be pretty much downhill from here. So yeah, the only thing after this point will basically be making sure you can, you know, go down the hill with your proper braking. But I think this is a success. I think we'll just run it through at full blast and see if this thing, obviously it's going to make it, right? But we'll just let it go time-lapsed until we crash. Alright, let's see if this thing can go up to 3-3. Actually, it's gonna have to be this one. Alright, we're gaining some speed. And there we go. Well, I think it's safe to say we can take 1,200 ton to the steel mill. Pretty much a full-blown success. I am curious, so if we would have been able to get out of the harbor, if we would have just taken off one car and had an even 1,200 tons with the loco. But unfortunately, I did 21 cars at the harbor, and we could not make it. So I might have to try again with an even 1,200 with the loco, with the DM3 out of the harbor. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. 1,200 tons out of steel mill to harbor is a success. But we'll call it here. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you guys next time.